I got a couple more people connecting to audio. We can wait for a few minutes. Yeah, is there anything
Oh,
you
I
want
see
to
Lalo.
share?
Lalo's here.
Great. Is David, is there anything you want to share on screen? Because I can make you co-host.
When I talk, I'm going to bring a couple things up.
Okay, I'll make you co-host. Yal, is there anything you want to?
No, I'm just
No?
gonna speak. Yeah.
Great. Okay, great. And good. And I'm just waiting for Eduardo Remus or Lalo.
He's here.
He's here.
Yeah, I know. I see him. He's still connecting. Hi. How are you all? Welcome. So glad you could make it. It's such a beautiful day. It's really a gorgeous day out in the fall day. It's like really our first full fall day, right? Yesterday was the first day. So, hi everyone. My name is Pam Stenberg, and I am the Vice Chapter Chair of the PSC here locally. I'm also a member of our Environmental Justice Committee committee, and you know, we've put on thus far, what have we done? 2 meetings in the spring, and our plan is to do 2 each semester. So really thank you for coming, and thank you for being part of this. As we all know, the most important thing we can focus on at this moment is sustainability, and you know, just keeping down the temperature of the planet. We can't even think to get it down. We just have to keep it down. So I really appreciate everyone being here, and David Robinson and Lalo and Yal are here to talk about what they're doing to make that, you know, make that possible. The format of the meeting is that we will hear David Robinson, Yal Amran, and Eduardo Remus, and then we'll go to breakout rooms, and then we'll come back. So I hope you can stay for the whole meeting. We are recording this meeting, and we'll make sure to put it up on our website, which is in the process of being formed, but we will send out notices to everyone when it's done. All right, so with that, I think we can get started. I will turn it over to Catherine Silverman, who's not in the state right now and is having problems with her video link, so she may not be.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Okay, great.
Yes. Hi,
right,
sorry everyone about that. I'm out of town for a wedding and do not have the best internet connection. But it's my pleasure to introduce to you one of our students, Eduardo, or as he goes by, Lalo. He's a sustainability student at CCNY with a background in video production and motion design. He's been participating in climate activist spaces since 2019, with more recent experience organizing at the state level with the DSA Eco-Socialists, the Build Public Renewables Act, and state Senate campaigns. And Lalo is here today to talk a little bit about his experience in the Urban Lab that occurred over the last week. The Urban Lab brought together young professionals from all over New York City and beyond to discuss where we're at with regard to climate justice as we head into the 10-year anniversary of Superstorm Sandy. So Lalo was one of the lab's participants, and the lab spent 3 days together in an intensive talking about, you know, where we are now and future directions for climate justice in New York. So Lalo, I'll hand it over to you.
Hi, thank you, Catherine. I'm on the street right now. I think I found a quiet spot. So yeah, the lab experience was great. It was a bit rushed that we only had 2 days to figure this all out. We broke out in 4 teams when we were trying to do our presentations. My team focused on defining climate justice. I feel like we got a bit like bogged down in the details, because justice is not the same as climate equity, is not the same as environmental justice. So we were, and like defining it in like, useful, like material, like actionable terms is also difficult. And
I guess, oh, I think we lost. Here you
oh
are.
my God,
We
sorry
lost
about
you
that.
for a sec.
For a second. Okay, good. I hope the connection is not stable now. I'm not sure. But yeah, I feel like in the context of City College, I think knowing more clearly the definitions of climate justice and environmental justice, I feel like the role of City College might be more related to environmental justice, which is, the built-in environment of, a city college and, the surrounding areas. If that's something the city college has like power to influence and to improve, for the people that have been like most like disinvested in that, that would be, something to consider. And squaring it with the goal of reducing emissions, for the college, like squaring it with the goal of decarbonizing is also important. But yeah, in Harlem, there's like a lot of groups working on that. There's like community gardens, there's tenant groups. So thinking about that would be like ideal. And a lot of people in the lab, like we're not from near New York City itself, right? So we try to like in New York that could inform us of what climate justice is for them. And that's, when you like throw these terms at like people that don't really hear them, it's tough. But we got like a pretty solid like response, like when it came to identifying like the actors, like the perpetrators, like identifying the victims of the injustice. Some people said that the government and urban planners were the perpetrators, and that applies, for like dance.
I think we lost you again, Lalo. I guess we did. Oh, yep. Okay. Well, I'm making the assumption that we lost him as he was talking about who are the culprits in trying to get justice, environmental justice for the Harlem community. It's like looking at who are the actors who are not working as hard as they can or in fact polluting. So when he gets back, maybe we can have a little more of a discussion on that. But I think that if we don't hear from him, I think we can move on to Catherine. I think it's, oh, is it Catherine or Stephanie? I'm sorry, Stephanie.
So hi, everybody. My name is Stephanie Rose. I work as an adjunct professor in the School of Education, teaching science education. And I'm also leading a capstone group of Masters of Sustainability students who are focusing on new ideas for sustainability improvements and messaging on the City College campus. And I'm so happy to introduce Yael Amron, who is a CCNY grad student pursuing her master's in urban sustainability. She is the operations manager at a small energy efficiency firm called Carlton Energy Consulting. She's passionate about the environment, and she's also part of the capstone team I'm leading. And we're so happy Yael can tell us about her work and ideas for CCNY.
Thank you, Stephanie. And thank you all for having me today. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my background and my current work and how I got involved with Stephanie's group, which is, as Stephanie mentioned, working on a really exciting capstone project. I have always worked within the built environment since I graduated university. I started out actually in commercial real estate, which is much further from what I'm doing now, but I realized that I've always been passionate about the environment, and that ended up taking me to an internship at the Mayor's Office of Sustainability, where at the time, the Mayor's Office was working on implementing and perfecting what is now called Local Law 87. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in a few minutes. From there, I went to work for Bloomberg New Energy Finance, and that is a group that puts out research about sustainable energy. So they put out research on solar and wind, and they sell that through the Bloomberg terminal. And then from there, I moved on to where I am now at Carlton Energy Consulting, where I run operations, and I head up a team that actually works within buildings to perform upgrades to building systems so that the buildings reduce their energy consumption. And specifically, what's really exciting about the company, and actually really exciting about what's currently going on in the landscape in New York City, is that there are lots of laws that have been implemented that require buildings and building owners and managers and co-op boards to reduce their energy consumption depending on building type and building size. So the city started by implementing a law called Local Law 84, and that requires all buildings that are 25,000 square feet or larger, with some exceptions, but to what's called benchmark their energy data. So they have to, each one of these buildings that fits within this framework has to compile a kind of a report that shows how much energy based on their utility bills they're using during the year. And the city collects that every year on May 1st, and it becomes public information. And that law got passed. I believe that law has now been in place since maybe 2015 or maybe even earlier than that. And from there, the city progressed by implementing a law called Local Law 87. And that law requires all buildings that are 50,000 square feet or larger on a 10-year basis to perform a building audit. So they have to hire a certified energy team to come in and assess the building's systems, to perform and create a report that shows any deficiencies with the systems. So for instance, the law has requirements as to how efficient a system must be performing. It has parts of the law require that certain size steam pipes have to be insulated, that part that you have cleaned and tuned your boiler on a yearly basis. So there are these requirements, and if the energy auditor finds a deficiency, they put together a report. The report is then sent to the building owner or manager, whoever handles the building. The deficiencies have to be rectified before the energy auditor can then put together the final report, which gets filed with the Department of Buildings, showing that the building is now in compliance with the law. And what's great about this law is that it brings buildings, into, of course, compliance, which is in essence a way of reducing some of the consumption, the utility consumption that the buildings are taking on. So there's that law. And then very recently in 2019, a really comprehensive law got passed as part of what's called the Climate Mobilization Act. It's called Local Law 97. And that law requires that all buildings that are 25,000 square feet or larger have to comply with emissions limits, so greenhouse gas emissions limits, by 2024. So for all intents and purposes, that means that the buildings have to go through maybe a similar process to what they may have gone through in local law 87, where they're updating some of their systems, but also they have to implement, depending on maybe what an energy auditor provides them as advice or as a plan, ways of reducing their energy consumption so that they can ensure that they will be below this limit that the city has put into place by 2024. And so there are all these really amazing laws that have come online to help New York City come into or reduce the consumption of buildings, which in essence actually are the largest producers of greenhouse gas in New York City. And so my company that I work with now, and how this plays into my, I guess, my master's degree and the capstone project that I'm working on, helps landlords comply with these laws by not only filing the paperwork, but also by sending in teams to the buildings that can perform some of these energy upgrades, working with vendor companies that can perform some of the upgrades that our in-house team can't perform, and in essence putting together a blueprint that over time will allow for the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. And so I decided that I wanted to continue on my journey, my environmental passionate journey. I guess now it's been about a year and a half ago. And that's how I decided to start my master's degree here with the school. And all of a sudden, I'm trying now to remember, Stephanie and I were talking, and she had mentioned that she was working on putting together a capstone group that was specifically going to focus on buildings and energy consumption. And it really caught my attention. Especially because I've found, that there are some things that, and this actually hopefully will play into what David Robinson tells everyone about, but there are lots of great projects that are going on within the school right now that we've recently learned about, and hopefully we'll be able to help David with some of the things that he's working on within this project. And the goal is to try and to make CCNY an even more sustainable place than it is right now. So the capstone will focus on that, and hopefully there'll be some things that we can partner with David with, and so my work will now not only be at work but also within my degree.
Thank you so much, Yael. And I also appreciate that you'll be able to join the breakout session that will be coming up soon about campus sustainability issues, so we can talk with you further about questions.
Sure.
Thank you. So I'd like to introduce now David Robinson, who's the Assistant Vice President of CCNY and Director of Facilities Management here since 2014 at CCNY. He oversees the operation of the City College Facilities Management Department. The CCNY campus includes 18 buildings on 36 acres for a cumulative total of 3.4 million square feet. The Facilities Management Department is responsible for the planning, programming, design, and construction of capital projects and all building and grounds maintenance in support of the campus operation. David, thank you for making time to join us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. So the leading up to the meeting, the itinerary that was sent out talked about a 10-minute talk. So I'll try to keep it to 10 minutes. And if I go over, just ring the bell and let me know. I'm going to be flipping back and forth through a couple different screens. So bear with me also on that as I do that. So at CCNY, we're undertaking a number of different projects that speak towards energy efficiencies. We've done a lot with what's called our BMS system, our building management system. We've expanded that quite a bit across the campus, and we're going to be expanding that even further. We're in the process of beginning a new project that will be winterizing our cooling towers. And as part of that, we're going to be upgrading our pumps, our motors, our VFDs, so that we can improve the efficiency of our chilled water that we circulate around the campus. But today I want to speak to you about a project that started sometime around 2014. And we've been able to bring it into construction, and construction is just about winding down right now. And that is the renovation of our mechanical systems in the NAC building. Now, when I talk about our mechanical systems in the NAC building, what I'm talking about, let me just bring up a slide real quick. Let's see, share screen. Okay. Here we go. So everyone can see that? Good. So I'm talking about our air handlers. We have about 31 air handlers in the NAC building, and the range in size anywhere from a hanging unit from a ceiling to units that measure maybe 18 feet wide by 40 feet long. So they're very, very large. And commensurately, the equipment that supports them are very large. So what is an air handling unit? What an air handling unit is that unit that supplies the air to a building. And it consists of a number of different coils and motors. You'll see in this picture, it shows what's called a reheat coil. So it provides some reheat for the fresh air that's coming in. Then it goes through filters. And then from the filters, we have two other coils. We have a chilled water coil and we have a heating coil, depending upon the season of the year. If it's summertime, we run the chilled water coil and we provide cool air to the building. And in the wintertime, we use the hot water coil, run hot water through it, and then provide heat to the building in the wintertime. So the situation that we had with our mechanical equipment in the NAC building was that it was installed in the mid to late 70s. So, it was onwards to 50 years old. The motors were not as efficient as we would like. The equipment that drives the motor, which is called a variable frequency drive, a lot of that equipment wasn't functioning. So what's the ramification of a VFD not functioning on a large air handler that has a motor of, say, 200 to 250 horsepower? What that means is that when the motor turns on, it's turning on at full speed. So when you turn on at full speed, you peak your electrical usage. And when you peak your electrical usage, you're causing a big draw on the grid. And you're also creating for yourself more expense than you need because you started at such a high speed on that motor, a high draw on that motor. The VFD does a couple of things. It lets you start at a lower draw, right, a lower amp, and then you can slowly bring the unit up to the operating speed. But it also attenuates the speed or the hertz of the motor during normal operation to match the amount of air that's needed in the system. And the way that it does that usually is by pressure. So it monitors the pressure in the system. The more supply ducts that are open, the lower the pressure. The less supply ducts that are open, the higher the pressure. So the more supply ducts that are open and the lower the pressure, you want the motor and the fan to run a little faster so you can impart more CFM. And as areas of the building become satisfied and the air damper is closed, the pressure increases, and then you can lower that speed so that you're providing less air to the building in those different areas. Well, in our case, the VFDs, a lot of VFDs weren't operating. So the motors started at 100% and they remained at 100%. So it was a very inefficient operation for a lot of our equipment. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, I'm going to bring a couple more slides up to give you an illustration of the number of fan coil units and the number of pieces of equipment that we replaced. And then I'm also going to bring up another slide that will illustrate to you how these air handling units supply air through the NAC building. And it'll give you an appreciation for the coordination that we had to go through to try to successfully complete this project and maintain a continuity of HVAC throughout the building. So the first slide I'm going to share with you is, let's see, where did it go? I don't see it. Hold on, let me just pull that slide back up. Okay, there it is. PDF. I should be able to find it. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm sorry about that. This is a PDF that shows all of the air handlers that we have in the NAC building. And here we go. So in the left, on the left column is the floor of the building where the air handling unit is located. Next is, for our nomenclature, it's the identification for that unit. But in total, as I'm just going to scroll down like this, we have 32 units in that building. So if you take a look at the one of the next columns over, right, it talks about, you know, what was in my base scope. I had some base scope items, I had some change order items. I'm just going to take a look at the base scope. The new fans, so for every single one of these air handling units, we installed new fans. That's this column right here, and you see that they're all checked yes. This column is the VFD. So out of 31 of our air handling units, we had 17 that needed new VFDs. And that's that column right there. It shows that we put 17 new air handling units in. In addition to the fans and motors and the VFDs, we also changed out virtually all of the hot water coils and all of the chilled water coils. So we had free flowing and good functioning hot water and chilled water coils with good airflow going through them. Now I want to pull up another slide very quickly and just to give you an appreciation for the logistics of this project. So I shared with you a slide that showed you 31 air handling units. Now, each one of those air handling units provides heating, ventilating, and air conditioning to the NAC building. But how do they do that? Basically, what they do is I have air handling units throughout the building. I have air handling units in the cellar of the north side of the building and the cellar of the south side of the building. I have air handling units on the second floor of the building, on the third floor of the building, on the seventh floor of the building, and on the ninth floor of the building. And on some of these floors, I have air handling units on the south side and the north side, and other floors, I have them just in one side of the building. But what these air handling units do is that they provide the HVAC through a core of the building. So if you can picture taking a core or a slice through the building, and it may not even be from the 8th floor to the first floor. It may be from like the second floor to the 9th floor. But each of the air handling units have a dedicated area of the building that they provide air to. And I'm going to go through for you just some color-coded floor plans that we put together so that we could maintain a sense of where the air handling units are affecting the building. And as I go through, this is the cellar floor. And now I'm coming up to the first floor of the building. Let me just flip these. Rotate clockwise. Yeah, there we go. So the different color coding represents the different air handling units. And on some floors, you'll see the same blue. On some floors, you'll see the same red. On some floors, you'll see the same orange. And on other floors, you might even see a different color. So I'm just going to flip through these quickly. And you can see that air handling unit that I have on the 7th floor, we have it identified as SF2, is providing air to the 1st floor of the building, to the 2nd floor of the building, to the 3rd floor of the building in parts, to the 4th floor of the building, to the 5th floor of the building. And you can see some of these colors, how they may change and how they may remain on these different floors. So we really had a challenge that I can't take just one air handling unit offline to have it disassembled, demolished, and then new air handling, new equipment installed without maintaining a continuity of air to the building at the same time. So we came up with a plan where we did quite a bit of crossover, where during the demolition of any one of the air handling units, and we only did one at a time, that we provided crossover air so that we were able to maintain HVAC and ventilation for all parts of the building during this project. So after this project was done, and I'm right now on the last air handling unit for this project. That air handling unit is in the NAC cellar. It's the NAC North cellar, and it will be done probably within about 40 days or so. That air handling unit will be done. I'm also doing some other interesting work as part of this project. I'm installing UV equipment, right, in light of what we just went through. So all of our air handling units now are going to have UV equipment installed, and that's a really great benefit. And I also have plasma ionizers being installed in the air handling units, again, to help deal with any bacteria or spores or anything like that that may be in the building before they get into the ductwork and distributed throughout. So let me just get rid of this sheet, and I want to share with you another quick screen that it's a part of the engineer's report, and I think it's this one right here. Let me see.
David, do you have a sense of how much energy may be saved by this project? Because that's really exciting to hear about.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay, great.
And where did that go? Oh, maybe this is it. Oh, there we go. And I think that this is it. Here we go. So this was the engineer's report that was prepared for this project. And I have the energy saving section pulled up. And from this, what it shows is that with the work that I shared with you, just briefly on that spreadsheet that I pulled up, when all that work is done, it's estimated that we're going to be saving about $725,000 a year in energy. So in comparison to our energy budget for the year, which is about $13 million, that includes electricity and natural gas. This is not 10%, 1.3. This is about 5% anyways of that energy budget, which is a very, very large chunk. And I have some other figures on impacts to the environment. Let me see if I can pull that up. Here it is. So this is a presentation that NYSERDA put together as part of this project as we were developing it. And they had some pretty good information on here. Again, it shows on this sheet, it shows the cost savings at 774. That may be something on top of the energy savings, I'm not sure. My energy savings on that prior report shows 724. So there's another 50,000 that they came up with. The operation and maintenance, they're estimating 72.5. That's kind of a number that may get lost in the mix. I'm not quite sure if labor is included in there or not. So I wouldn't really take that one to the bank. But the 724 to the 774 is probably a real number. But then we also have the impact of this project as it relates to energy savings in kilowatts and also in carbon dioxide reduction. So in kilowatts, we're looking at a 7.75 million kilowatts over the course of a year, which would be a lot, and about 3,359 metric tons of carbon dioxide, which is another great contribution towards our reductions. So this was a really good project. We're very happy to do it. These projects take quite a while, and they also cost quite a bit. The planning for this project started in 2014. We were able to start construction about 2019, which was actually pretty quick for that. And the final cost on this project, I don't have it off the top of my head, but you're probably looking at a $25 million project, all in for everything that was done. So they're quite expensive, but we're really looking for this to take us into the next 50 years in the NAC building. So that's what I have to share with you on our NAC project.
Thank you so much, David. We'd like to take some time now to do a short question and answer, and we're going to set up a whiteboard just for this group to just share some of their ideas about sustainability issues and improvements you'd like to see on campus. And in a couple of minutes, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, we're going to begin our breakout groups. There'll be two breakout groups, one about campus sustainability issues and one about people who are more interested in Harlem community sustainability issues. So Pam, were you gonna set up that whiteboard?
Yeah, I'll put it up. All right.
But if anybody has any questions at this point for David, for Yael, for Lalo.
Right, so well, there, it's not coming up. Hold on one second. So so while I set up the whiteboard, if you have any questions, I have a question from Yael.
CFM is an acronym for cubic feet per minute. So it's
Right.
it's a volume measurement,
Uh-huh.
and it represents the volume of air that is being distributed from that air handling unit.
Yeah. Thank you, David. Also, I have a question for Yael. Are the city buildings part of that local law? Do they come under?
So unfortunately, the city has exempted itself from all of these local laws. Now, from talking with David, I think that City College is trying its best to, even though they're exempt, to try and meet some of the standards that the city has put into place, because we all know that climate change is a real thing, and the people who are like David, who are working on these big projects, believe that if we try and get into compliance, or at least if we're trying to do these projects, that it's for the better of all of us in the long run.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, and I think CUNY and I think our next meeting will address some of the things that CUNY is actually trying to do. I don't know, David, have you been on any of those committees for CUNY and what they want to address or how they want to do it?
No, not really. I'm up to my eyeballs in alligators here.
Right. So I put, as you can see, I put up the board, the whiteboard. So if anybody wants to add to this, and okay, if anybody wants to add their ideas or just some quick thoughts of how city community can address climate justice and sustainability goals. I mean, is there anything that people would like to see that they're not seeing? I would like to see more trees. That's fine. I would on campus. We have trees, we do, but I don't know that we have enough. So there's my add to it. If you want to take a minute and just think about that, and kind of the sticky notes, just a can everybody see me putting, you know, my cursor, my pointer?
Yes.
All right, so sticky notes are here. All you have to do is press on it and add one. If you know, it doesn't necessarily say who you are, so it's you know, you can do it anonymously or mostly anonymously. Right, and thanks, David. Yeah, that it took 3 years of construction that started in the pandemic.
Right.
Right, so, you know, if anybody wants to use the sticky notes or just the text, that's fine. There's lots of different way.
I see a question from Nancy Romer.
Right, is there an interest in improving composting, right? That's a question. Oh, and the other question is, how can this great work be facilitated by new funds from the IRA? IRA, Nancy, could you just give us what the IRA is?
It's the Inflation Reduction Act, and it's the federal money that will come to homes and to public places for climate action, you know, for retrofitting buildings, creating new sustainable energy systems. But I particularly, I mean, I have a question because this sounds like such a wonderful project. I'm wondering how we can advance this work and replicate it on other campuses through the IRA as one question. And then another question would be if anyone is thinking about the apprenticeship programs that are coming through the IRA to be housed at CUNY. Clearly, community colleges would have the more vocational education, but you guys have such a wonderful engineering school. I wonder if that would be part of it.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
we also have sustainability programs. I mean, that, yeah, you missed that. Yeah, was part of that program.
Yeah, and
So-
actually, Nancy, as part of the capstone project, I've been doing some research about the IRA, and it sounds like you actually are very familiar with some of the funding that might be coming in, and I'd love to chat with you if you are offline about it. But it does seem like from some of the research that I've done that a lot of the money is actually going directly to homeowners. I haven't yet been able to figure out exactly how the money is directed towards the state and how like a college campus would gain access to that funding. And again, if you are in the know and you know, I'd love to speak to you about that. And then perhaps we could team up with David for some of the projects that he's working on to get more funding to what he wants to do around the campus. So yeah, but I do think it's definitely something that is important to consider at this moment in time.
I agree. Love to connect, and just to know that you know the Climate Jobs New York, which is a mostly AFL-CIO operation, they are pushing for decarbonizing the schools, the K through 12. But some of us at CUNY would like to see CUNY be part of that in New York City, and that's where we could more directly access those funds. But we'll need good models like yours.
Nancy, could you put your email into the, either directly to me and we can chat offline?
Oh, sure. I'll put it in the chat.
Great,
Thank
thank
Okay, so it's 1:18, and I want to break out, and this is such a great group, but let's break out into, well, we can vote on this if we want, either break out or just stay in one room. So the breakout would be community versus local, campus, or we can just continue this conversation. I don't know. We seem to be working well together. I don't know. What do you think, Stephanie?
Do people have a preference? Would people prefer to talk in smaller groups, or are people comfortable talking in a larger group?
Yeah, if you could just raise your hands if you want to go to a breakout group, or just raise your hands if you want to go to breakout group. So everybody know how to do that? You're flexible. Alex.
Hello, I just wanted. My name is Lee, and I just want to let you know that I'm on the phone. So if you can include the phone in a breakout room or the main room, I would appreciate it.
Great. I'm sorry, what's your name?
Lee, you may see me at 646.
Right, okay. All right. All right, so we didn't have, I mean, we just have, you know, such everybody's kind of talking. So we can, if I suspect if we break out, we'll have a lot more people in the city college campus and fewer people in the local Harlem. So I don't know, Steph, I know I'm making this on the fly, but what would you prefer to do? We have one person who wanted to go to a breakout room, and then I got a whole bunch of unflexibles. I can't hear you because you're unmuted. You're muted.
Maybe we could take like the next like 6 or 7 minutes in a breakout room, like just to talk a little bit in smaller groups and then come back together.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. All right. So I am going to find you. Lee, where did you want to be in case you can't get into the breakout room? Okay, I'm opening the rooms. Okay, so I have 2 rooms open. One is for college-wide and one is community efforts. So the college-wide, I guess it's David Robinson, and then community efforts are me. And y'all, are you in the community efforts?
Stephanie, which one did whatever?
Yeah, I think Yael's going to be in campus.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. So I will be working with community efforts. Okay. All right, so we have a lot of people who haven't joined the college-wide. Actually, I can do if we want to do it this way, you can stay here, Stephanie, and I will go to the community efforts room.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I think that'll work. All right, so, or not. Okay. Because CV Maglo is in college-wide right now. All right, I'm going to walk over to community efforts, and I'll. You can't see the breakout rooms.
It was a little hard for this. Oh yeah, here. Oh yeah, college-wide.
Okay. Esmirna, where do you want to go?
College-wide, I think.
I'm sorry, college.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, yeah, you know how to assign people, right, Stephanie? I'm gonna go join the community efforts. Okay, can you not see? Who can't see the college? Who still can't see it? Ashley, did you want to go to a room?
Mary Lady. Oh,
I'm sorry, what? Shira, Shira, what room would you like to be in? College-wide, okay. Ashley, college-wide. Shira? College-wide, okay, you're going. David, you're going to college-wide, bye. Dia? Eastline? Do you want to go anywhere? Eduardo? Nancy, where do you want to go? I'm sending you to college-wide, Nancy.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Marilyn Lopez, do you have a preference? Eduardo, where do you want to go? I'm sending you to college-wide. Kevin Rodriguez? Okay. Marilyn? Kevin, okay, I'm sending you to college-wide. All right. Dia? I'm going to send you to college-wide. And Lee? Can you see?
I'm thinking maybe the community, but if
Okay.
there's less room in the, whatever.
No, it's all fine. I'll send you to community. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Looks like the other group may not have made it back to this room yet. I will say that I wanted to thank everybody for joining us today and encourage everybody to write their reflection to help us scout the campus, and we'll, to stay connected so that we can Yael, do you want to say anything to the group about the idea for a framework? Like for maybe a proposed framework for sustainability, or?
You mean like the plan that we've been talking about a little bit?
Yeah, like looking at what other schools are doing and.
Yeah, and I think someone, maybe it was Nancy, had, I don't think she's still here, but was talking about, looking at what other schools are doing. And as part of our capstone project, we've been doing some research on some of the other CUNY schools that seem to have a really focused effort on sustainability projects, and that can be within different categories. So within, energy, or within waste, or even like education. How are we educating students on the campus about, where to put their recycling? And so we've been looking at different plans that other schools have published as potentially a framework that might help us come up with a plan or come up with projects for either the students to do, or maybe that we can take on with facilities, so that we can push forward some more of these energy and sustainability goals.
Thank you, Yael. So, okay, well, I think we could probably say that the meeting is concluded. I think that the other group must be taking a little more time in their breakout room. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Looking forward to seeing you at our next meeting, and looking forward to your reflections and any scouting you can do on the campus, so we can work together to improve the sustainability efforts on campus. So great to see you today. I'll stay on.
Thank you.
If anybody wants to talk a little more, I'll stay on as people are leaving. So if anyone wants to say anything at the end.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I thank you. So I just email you since you put your email.
Oh, great.
And I will also fill out the Google form. And so anything I can do to review.
Wonderful. Oh, Kosevi, thank you so much. And what are you studying, Kosevi?
I'm graduating for urban study now, and then I'm applying for a sustainability program for upcoming spring. So
and sustainability program on campus.
On campus, I submit my application for the upcoming spring. So
fantastic. Okay, great. Okay, so you're already applying for that program. That's great. And I think Eduardo, who's here, is already a student in that program.
Hi, yeah.
That's great. Yeah, it looks like Kosevi wants to apply to the same program that you're in.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, if you need we can probably connect on the email list, or we can exchange. Like, if you have any questions, I can help you. Like, anything.
Yeah, basically, I have one of the main things that's really interests me is how to reduce carbon on the construction building, because my background also is architecture design. So then I know that now they're really talking about building with carbon free, whatever. So I want to just know more about that. And then, yeah, I've seen people are coming.
Yeah, there's definitely classes that touch on that. There's the Susan Kaplan's materials and sustainability. I took that class and I learned a lot about materials on that. So you can definitely learn that and like through the course. But yeah, and my capstone is related to that. So yeah, we'll get in touch like soon, one way or another. So
Yeah, thank you. So
awesome.
I will text you directly through the chat.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Okay.
Great.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. In this closing, I just want to put into the chat, excuse me, a reflection link to give us your feedback about today, and that your email, we can keep in touch. I put together a quick Scout the Campus Google link, and we have Alex here. Alex, would you want to say anything about your recycling initiative that you're working on?
Oh,
Yeah,
Alex,
sure.
you're
I
going.
can put a quick word in. So uh, as part of the capstone project with Yael and two other students in the sustainability program, we're working on some improvements of the campus, and one of them is waste management, and specifically improving the recycling on campus. So one thing I've been keeping my eye out for is lone trash bins. Because whenever there's a lone trash bin, it's just, people are just gonna throw anything in there, and they're not gonna walk to the recycling center to properly sort. So I'm just trying to keep tabs on how many of those there are, and mostly in NAC and Marshak right now. But I don't really have like a formalized system yet. So maybe this tool that you're doing, Stephanie, could help with that.
Yeah, I was thinking we had just spoken about something like this, and just to get it started, I put together this link where we could upload a photo, and I wrote something about single-use plastics. If people see places, in fact, following up on Alex's idea, if you see places around the campus where recycling is happening really effectively, let us describe the location, let us know. If you can upload a photo. If you see places, like as Alex said, a lone bin, or where it just doesn't seem to be happening, it needs improvement, that research, that data collecting, that scouting is going to really help our project. And it's a way that you all could help with this project. And also other sustainability improvements that you want to see. We want to hear your ideas. As we put together this website about sustainability and environmental justice on campus, we'll have ways of getting involved, but we want this all to reflect the interests of the community. So thank you, everybody, for being here. We have our next program on November 4th, and I hope you'll be able to join us. We have a speaker coming, Monty Graham from CUNY Conserves. We have a speaker coming from New York City Parks. We have somebody we're trying to line up from the League of Conservation Voters to talk about sustainability and voting. It's just great to see everyone. If anyone has any closing questions or comments, we're happy to hear them. But everybody, the meeting is officially over.
Lee just wants to add a comment because I can't.
Yes, I put in the chat.
Oh yeah, you want to put something in the chat? Yeah. Oh, do you have social? Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry, Lee.
It's for the social media, if you have, where I can follow you. Thank you.
Oh, we don't have social media yet, but Alex, now that maybe we want to think about that, right? As something we want to create.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, like side by side with the website. That would be
totally.
That would be great. Thank you, Marie Lady. That's a great idea.
Thank you.
Oh, hello. I just want to give you my email address since I won't be able to put it in the chat.
Okay, yeah.
My username is LEAPIS000, and I'll tell you that again. L like Lisa, B like Bobby, A like Apple, P like Peter, T like Thomas, I like Isaac, S like Sarah, and then a set of 3 digits of 000.
Okay, Alex, did you get that?
Yeah, so it's L Baptiste 000.
Correct.
Awesome. Okay, got it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lee. Okay, great. Okay. Excellent. So Michael Green is one of our organizers for the group. He's here. He's a emeritus chemistry professor who's retired and has been helping with the planning of these events. So Michael, thanks for staying on. And this is Alex, who's part of the capstone group. Vacula's here, but so Alex, thank you so much for joining today. And it was interesting to hear what people are thinking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad I could make it. It was really interesting being part of the community group too, because I realized that's like we haven't really thought about that in our plan, but maybe it's just an interesting side to think about.
I definitely think we need to have it as part of our
Mhm.
our thinking and the website and everything and our plan.
And did you get the mind map we made?
No, was that
Oh.
something that was sent to me, or was it in? Did you put it into the folder?
No, we didn't put it in the folder. I thought Jeralise shared it with you, but maybe she hasn't yet. We're working on this for our capstone seminar
Oh, great.
meeting, and it's just like a visual layout of kind of like the directions we're going. So I'll make sure that I share it with you.
Oh, fantastic. That would be amazing. And I had a phone conversation with Yael Amron about, we kind of looked together at the Hunter plan, 42-page plan, but what really got our attention was just like the table of contents.
Mhm.
Like, okay, like how are they doing this? And
Mhm.
it was like, it seemed like something that could really be like, we don't have to start from scratch, but Yael's really interested in like seeing if maybe we could put together like a framework, like a proposed framework for the
Mhm.
college to think about. And a lot of the things we're talking about, kind of like, I could see how they could nest very well within
Yeah.
the framework. And just to sort of like, they talk about having like 7 pillars of
Mhm.
sustainability. And so like
Mhm.
the first pillar is waste.
Yeah.
And so like the project, then there's like an energy pillar. Then there's like,
Mhm.
there's a like sustainability, education and outreach, which is kind of like the messaging, so it's like our ideas could nest really well within something like that. And I just think if we looked at Hunters, or we looked at Columbia's, or we looked at like 2 or 3 colleges or Lehman, or we probably could put together our own framework, and it would really help our project, because then we'd have like sort of language, like we're thinking about this pillar, we're thinking about this, we could like start nesting things within. And even if this year we only work on, let's say 3 of the 7 pillars, like
Yeah.
it's sort of like the project, then in the future we'd have other ways of working.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's starting to give it
good.
a different kind of form as well. So I'd be very interested in seeing the mind map. So great.
Yeah, I just shared it with you.
Oh, thank you so much, Alex. Great.
All right. Great. We'll see you on, I guess, we're meeting on Thursday, next Thursday.
Right, Thursday with Sarah. And I'm going to also work on putting together some of those videos to look at some classroom teaching.
Oh, yeah.
For the
Okay.
methods class. Yeah. And well, I hope it was okay that I just went ahead and did that Google link about being scouts on the campus.
Yeah, that's great.
I just thought, you know what, it would just be like a first step. It doesn't mean that we can do like another survey, but I wanted this event to have some little action step.
Yeah.
So
no, I love that.
Quickly put it together, and we could sort of take it from there.
Yeah, no, that sounds, I'd be interested to see if we get responses.
Let's see what happens, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, have a great
All right.
weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye.